Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Ryan with From Corners Unknown. I hope you're all doing well. Just a few weeks ago, I had the immense pleasure of speaking with Figgy of Lovelace, this soul-smashing, ambient-laden doom band based in St. Catharines, Canada. I stumbled upon this band, or I learned of them through an artist I spoke with a while ago, Jameson, who plays drums for this outfit, and this project was founded and is helmed by Figgy. This is her first project, her first musical endeavor, and she plays guitar and does the vocals for the band, and I absolutely love everything that they've put out thus far. They were founded back in about midsummer of 2017. They debuted with a nice 3-song demo and just somewhat recently dropped a new single. In this conversation, I chat with Figgy about kind of how she fell into this project, what the impetus was for creating this. We discuss some of her lyrics and what the local scene is like in St. Catharines, and some of the first live shows the band has played, and kind of seeing how that has changed her perspective, or how that's kind of led to new growth for her as an individual. So I sincerely hope you enjoyed this conversation. And just after this introduction, I will play their new single, Bible Humper. You replace the U with a V, so you folks can get a taste of what this sounds like. And then at the end of the conversation, I'll play one of the tracks off of their demo, their debut. So thank you so much for your continued support, and thank you for any and all support you can give Figgy and Lovelace.
It's hard
So you're in the band Lovelace. When did you start playing guitar and writing music and things of that sort?
Okay. Well, I just turned like 22 a couple days ago.
Oh shoot.
So
Happy
probably
belated
like
birthday.
oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Probably like at the end of high school I picked up like the guitar. So like 18, but I wasn't like super serious until probably like 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was so that was your first instrument, and do you play any other instruments, or is it just guitar?
Well, I sort of like actually when I was young, like I was in like like a little youth orchestra. I played like
Oh,
the violin,
okay.
and um, I had like some piano lessons, but guitar is like the first instrument like I really connected with, I guess.
Sure. That makes sense. And how is has the any of your experience with, violin or things of that sort, has that crept into the way you compose music or anything of that sort, or?
I think like that's very possible. I think like the my background in music, like I can't really like just pick up a violin now or
Sure.
anything.
Sure.
It would take like a little practice to get back into it,
Sure.
but yeah, I think like having that knowledge sort of like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
sort of stuck some of it.
Sure.
So
Kind of. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I think it helps me, like, but I'm not sure if it influences me, you know.
Sure.
I think things like that are sort of subtle and you can't always tell
Yeah.
yourself.
And is Lovely? So, did you have any projects before Lovelace, or is this kind of your first full endeavor into a musical project?
Yeah, this is like definitely like the first sort of project.
And how did you? So, what was kind of the impetus for starting this project with Jameson? And I think you have some other folks in the band now, but just from the outset, what was kind of the starting point?
We have another member. His name's Jason Kaiser,
Okay.
and he's our bassist.
Okay.
We all went to high school together, actually.
Okay.
And I guess just I was in the scene at like the time, like in my youth, right? And like I don't know, like personally, I've always sort of felt like my sex or like my gender sort of like I let it hold me back a little bit.
I see.
And so I sort of like I would see all these guys in the scene like having such a good time and like expressing themselves and just like making their art, and I sort of felt held back by like my being a female,
Sure.
just like throughout life, and like when you grow up and all the stuff.
Sure.
So I think doing this project was sort of like a big step in personal growth.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I'm very like into growing like as a person. So I just wanted to challenge myself and just get uncomfortable, and
Yeah.
I think also like I really wanted to inspire other girls who may feel similar to me.
I see. Okay. And are there not too many just like are you in the Pelham, Ontario, or just like kind of the general Ontario area?
I live very close to Jameson.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So like it's like a really small town.
I see.
But the scene in like our area is St. Catharines, I would say.
Okay.
So it's like a 15-20 minute drive. It's not too bad, and it's pretty male dominated, like
I see.
I would say. And not like necessarily a bad thing, but
Sure,
that's
sure.
that's just how it is. So
Yeah, yeah. And are there other bands that have kind of cropped up after you started Lovelace with, with females in it or anything of that sort, or is that like have you seen that?
well, like there's one band that like added a female member,
Oh,
sort
cool.
of locally, but I don't know. I don't think that really had anything to do with
Sure,
it. But like like on my Instagram and stuff, I've been seeing like a lot of like videos of girls like just picking up their instruments. You know what I mean? And just
sure,
like sort of like spreading their like learning process
sure.
and like growth, which I think is like a great
Yeah,
like step. Like I don't know.
definitely. So how did you? So how about like the genre of so how did you land on this genre of music or kind of this style? Because I feel like I could somewhat compare it to a couple bands I know, but it's quite a unique sound to me. At least I'm not. Maybe I'm just not very well versed in this kind of stuff, or I just haven't listened to enough of it. But kind of like that airy, dreamy, but heavy doom stuff. Like what was, like, where did you get the inspiration to be like, this is what I want to do, or like kind of this style of music?
Well, I think I've always been into like all different genres, but like I really like appreciate the atmosphere of like heavier music, like
Sure.
live, not like as well as like through your headphones. Just like the feelings that it can give you. And like to be honest, like I don't know, I'm not like a guitar fiend. Like I can't like you know.
Yeah, yeah, you can't do sweeps or whatever those crazy things people do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm still learning, like
of course, of
but
course. Yeah,
always. But yeah. So it was just like for me, like mostly like this whole project was just sort of like a way to sort of like express like some feelings, I guess.
sure.
Because I practice like a little visual art, but like this is like much different for me. So I think like yeah, just I had to stay true to like myself sort of, and like I don't know, I didn't really like plan for anything to sound a certain way. I
Oh, interesting.
mostly yeah, I mostly just like I don't know, let like my emotions flow out of me,
Sure,
and
sure.
uh,
And that's just kind of the sound that came out, kind of like that
yeah.
heavy, doomy.
But I wrote it all on like acoustic, like the whole demo.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Like because yeah, I didn't have a lot of gear to begin with or
Sure,
anything. So and like I lived in like a little like common house at the time. Like I
sure.
couldn't be like riffing all day.
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course.
So really like it was brought to life, and like I think that sound was really crafted a lot by Jameson, and
Okay.
like we worked on it together obviously, but I think he was really able to capture like exactly sort of what I was trying to express,
Sure. Yeah.
and we sort of have like a really good compatibility and just like work ethic understanding in that sense.
Sure. Are you ever gonna release like acoustic cuts of the music you've done thus far? I mean, that sounds like that'd be real interesting side by side to listen to them.
I've never thought about it, but
Okay.
maybe I'll bring it back to the boys, and
Yeah, sure, sure. That makes sense.
that
Yeah.
would be cool. It'd be fun, anyways.
Yeah. So how about like the lyrics and things of that sort? So I was reading, I was kind of just like listening to the demo and your recent single you released. And I just kind of sat there and read the lyrics as the song was just kind of, you know, punching me in the teeth or however you want to describe it, as heavy as it is. Like where do all those, like where do you draw inspiration for those lyrics, or like are they just personal experiences, or like because they have a very, I don't know if morbid's the right word, but like there are definitely like tendrils of kind of like this, I don't know, there's like a real harrowing vibe I get to it, especially with the way you deliver the lyrics as well, and I really like the way it all kind of comes together.
Thank you.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I would say like uh, I try to sort of, I guess, like be less literal and sort of leave it a lot for like interpretation. Like I sort of
Sure.
like to keep it like a work of art, like without a bio. Like no, I think like I do take from personal experience and just like things that I noticed in life or like that touch me and stuff.
Sure.
They're all different, but I guess like they are all pretty personal and like I don't know. I'm glad you like appreciate them because they're one of the things that I'm like pretty insecure about just
Oh, I
because
see.
like they are personal.
Sure.
But I think like I, I'm pretty okay at like painting them in a way where people can like feel maybe a connection, whether
Sure.
they really understand what I'm trying to express or not.
Sure. Yeah.
Which is fine because like not everybody understands the art, right?
Sure, sure. Yeah, no, and that's kind of a vibe. That's the vibe I got too when I was reading through the lyrics. So you released your your 3 song demo, and then you recently dropped a single. How's like the project? So when you first started it to kind of, I mean, it hasn't been around an immensely long time, but how has it kind of transformed since the time you founded it to now?
I just sort of feel like it's been like a snowball, you know?
Sure.
Um, but like not like a a snowball rolling down like a huge like avalanche or anything. Just like a little one, just like slowly building momentum. Because I don't know, like everything was just so new to me, and I just felt like in the beginning it was just there was just so much learning, like, and that was really fun. And it was
Yeah.
just me and Jameson, like for the demo.
Sure.
Um, but when we added Jason, we started playing more shows, sort of,
Oh, cool.
and like
Okay.
we got asked to go on like a tour with a London band. I think they're from London. But yeah, so it's really been sort of picking up for us since, and I think like the way we work isn't much different than in the beginning. Like
Okay.
it's more collaborative now for sure.
Oh,
I
okay.
think like I'm really open to like just like expression. So like I don't want to like I feel like it's sort of like my project, but I don't want to like not allow like my band members to like express themselves. Like
Sure.
I love hearing their ideas and
Yeah.
input, and a lot of the songs on this one have been like collaborative, and it's
Yeah.
been really fun. Yeah, just like kind of figuring out our sound. Like
Sure. And do you think you've landed so that the sound that you've had on your demo and this recent single, are you pretty settled on the sound, or are there certain elements that you're kind of wanting to incorporate on future releases?
well, we're working like on a full length right now.
Oh, nice. Okay. Awesome.
Um, and I like I don't know if I'll ever want to just settle like on a sound. Like
Yeah.
I
Makes
feel
sense.
like that's the easy way out, sort of, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, like I totally get it. Like if you've got something good going for you and you just like want to be successful, just like write it out, I guess. But
Yeah, yeah,
for me personally, like I just sort of feel like uh, it has to change, like with like us, like because we're constantly changing,
sure.
and it would just be a lie to keep it the same.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't want to.
No, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. And how's it been like in the live setting and all that? How is the how do just playing live and how what like do people receive the music pretty well?
I really enjoy like playing live. I used to get really nervous,
Sure.
but it's been like we've gotten like positive responses like
Sweet. Yeah.
almost every show we've done. Actually, like yeah, like every show we've gotten like you know, and like I feel like genuine ones, because not just from like pals, like you know, from people who we don't know, you know.
Yeah.
And
Not yeah.
and I've been told like that like we create a certain atmosphere when
Sure.
live, like by a few people. So, you know, it'd be interesting to like experience that on the other side. It's interesting like that I'll never be able to, but
Yeah. No, that is no that yeah no that is interesting. I haven't even thought about that kind of being able to because you're up there creating the atmosphere, but being able to experience it yourself that'd be interesting actually, huh? When was your first live show?
it was like right after we released the demo. Like
Okay.
my and Natasha had like a little backyard show
Oh, cool.
party.
Okay.
It was really really chill. We were like it was the first time any of us had played together as like a full band. So
Mm.
like Jason just got off work and had never like played with us before
Oh,
and just showed up. It was just like so bad, but
did he know how to? Did he know any of the riffs or anything, or was he just kind of like,
I
oh,
think we knew. I think it just was like it was like outdoors and just like the sound like system and just like
yeah, yeah,
it was pretty rough, but I'm glad like the first one was rough as opposed to like later. I feel like it's more excusable.
sure. Like if you were to go to a full venue or something of the sort with some people, and you tried to hash out your first experience in front of everyone, or something of that sort, or
Exactly. Like everyone who was there were just pals anyways, so it was really chill.
yeah, 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 and a lot, yeah, very supportive. I would imagine as well.
Yeah.
And how many shows have you played since? Have you been doing a number of them?
Yep. Like I don't know if I could count them all, but probably like 10,
Oh,
like
geez. Okay.
maybe a few more. I'm not sure. That's my guess.
Okay. No, and have you been moving around? Like, have you just been in the shit? I already forgot. You said St. Catherine's, correct? That's the
Yeah.
name. So, have you been sprawling out some from that area, or have you been kind of confined to St. Catherine's?
Oh, okay, so we played a couple, like right after we released the demo, we played a couple shows in St. Catherine's.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know if like you know of them, but there's a band called like Lapsaria, and they're like I can write it down or
Yeah,
something,
yeah. No,
but
you can throw my way. I need to get. I'm trying to get so much better at learning all the different music scenes in all different parts of the world. It's so
there's
interesting to
so
like.
many, like
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
But they're really cool, very heavy, and like I was just shocked because they just like straight up were like, "We love you, like we want to go on tour,"
Oh wow.
and so we did like a 4-day run with them. We did like our city, and then London, and then Montreal and Ottawa,
And
and then
is that going? I should know my geography, but I don't. That is that going kind of like up in like northeast ish, or is that?
I have no idea, to be completely honest. Like,
You're just like, all right, along for the ride, just playing the
yeah,
shows, getting to the venue. Yeah,
yeah. We all have like our jobs in the band, you know. We
sure,
all have our strengths, and
sure,
then directions just wasn't mine. So
sure.
sorry about that. Yeah.
No, yeah, that's how it goes.
But yeah, that was fun. And then we've played like a show in London or
Hmm.
something. Maybe like yeah. So we've been just playing mostly around here. We did that little
Sure.
tour, and like we've been playing in London a little bit.
So how about like your own personal music influences, kind of artists that really that speak to you and you know maybe like music idols or certain folks like are there like who really speaks to you artistically, musically and things like that.
I feel like I take influences from like every music that like I listen to probably. You know, and there's so much music to listen to. But I think like some like maybe like inspirational artists for
Yeah,
me would like just like OG like badass women like Kate Bush, like
sure.
Bjork,
Oh, okay, yeah, for
Erica
sure.
Badu, like just like you know, but like I love like so much music. Like it's endless, like the list.
Yeah, of
Like,
course.
but those are my three main ladies.
Okay, for sure. Are there other mediums of art that really influence you? Because I know you said you touched a bit on doing like physical art of some sort, or kind of having a little bit of experience or hand in that. Are there other mediums that influence and affect the way you write and produce music?
Yeah, I like definitely. I just like I feel like I can like take a lot of influences from like everything, like you know,
Okay,
not just music. Like I definitely I'm like a person who like feels a lot. Like I don't know, just like I don't know if it's just like me, but some things like I could look at like an apple and like just be really touched, like sort of
huh?
thing.
Sure,
I don't know how to explain it, but like you know, so definitely like when I see like you know different forms of art, whether it's like sculpture or painting or like spoken art or you know any other sort like dance or anything like it all like I can appreciate it and
sure.
take influence from it definitely. Like a lot of artists like challenge me.
Hmm.
Like when especially like even like with movies and stuff. Like
Sure,
I just always like get inspiration for like my music and think like I could do that. You know what I mean? Or like,
sure.
but like in my own way, sort of like I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was also curious because you're wearing a Texas Chainsaw Massacre shirt, and I was like, oh, how did yeah, I was curious like if that influences your
Oh
sound at
yeah.
all.
I love like old scary movies.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
So for your project, so for Lovelace, how is what's kind of at the it may sound like a cliche question, but kind of what's like the core of the project for you, or what does it represent for you, and what do you want people who listen to your music, what do you want them to kind of feel and experience and take away from it?
I guess like the first thing that's coming to my mind is just like being genuine and
Yeah,
like realness and like I think people can connect and relate to that, like being genuine and real. Um, so I think like that's sort of just what I feel the core is, because,
Hmm.
like, I don't know. I don't think anyone who's participating in the band is putting on any sort of show or,
Sure.
facade.
Is there a way for you personally to ensure that the music comes through genuine and real to people? Like, is there a certain it's hard for me to ask because I don't write music myself, but is there like a certain way you make sure it comes across that way to people who listen to your music? Or is it just kind of you express yourself as you express yourself and that's just
Um, yeah, I guess, like, when it really comes to this project, like, uh, ultimately, like, although, like, I really love all the supporters, like, it's not really for anyone other than myself. And,
yeah,
like, I'm just, like, doing it to, express, like, any other art. And
sure.
I don't really, I'm not trying to cater to an audience.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And how has it been? So how like you said you were pretty nervous going up and playing live, but how was it kind of overcoming those just I can't even imagine how nervous you could be in a situation like that, but like just going up there and doing that. I mean, how was that feeling, like that first moment of doing that?
It was, uh, life changing,
Hmm.
Like, it's sort of, like, weird, but, like, just, like, when you learn that, like, you're just as capable, like, in, like, areas of, like, your life that are, like, so inspiring, like, um, it's really, like, it's a very powerful feeling. At least, like, I felt like, although, like, yes, like, I was probably, like, pretty stiff, and,
Sure.
like,
Sure.
probably, like, pretty quiet or whatever. And, like, the show probably wasn't the best that night visually, but, like, just, like, the first experience was really, like, memorable. I don't think I'll forget, like, because I really feel like I did feel like an energy transfer, like,
Interesting.
mhm.
And have you, I mean, has it changed your, like, how has it just kind of opened up like a channel of energy, or has it kind of like, just kind of like made you feel a lot more, has it made you feel more comfortable in, creating music and putting it out into the world as a result of that?
Although it was so magical, like, it's odd because I don't know, like, if much has changed, and I think that's, like, the irony to it all.
Sure.
Like, I was in the scene, like, so young, like, just, like, sort of, like, thinking, like, wondering if I would ever be able to be in that position,
Yeah.
one day. And then, like, finally I find myself in that position.
Sure.
And literally, life is the exact same.
Yeah. 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 Of course.
So, yeah, like, things can, like, I don't know, life's so short, things end
Sure.
quickly. And,
Sure.
yeah, I gotta treasure moments for sure.
How about the name of the band itself? Is there like what's the is there a deeper meaning behind the name of the project?
I guess, like, uh, I don't know why, but, like, I watched, like, some documentary on, like, Linda, like, Lovelace. She was, like, this porn star in, like, I think, like, the 70s, 60s, 70s.
Oh, okay, okay.
And, yeah, like, she had, like, a difficult life, and I think, like, the reality was that she was sort of, like, not, that wasn't her preference in job, but, like, I think she was, like, a really brave person, and I think, like, sex workers are really stigmatized.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know, like I want to like empower that name, like
Sure,
I don't
sure,
know.
sure. No,
I
interesting.
just
No,
I respect her, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, no, no. I didn't even catch. I didn't even put that together. But that's actually really interesting. To be frank, you're the first lady I've spoken with in all my interviews, and it's always, and as I've been going, as I've been going to shows and kind of experiencing scenes where I live, and then talking with other folks, it's kind of this interesting. It's something that I've been kind of trying to get more in tune with, just kind of realizing how oversaturated, or like how so many musical projects are just so like male dominated, and
It's quite a reality, like it
yeah,
really
yeah.
is.
No, it is, and it's something that I've kind of. It's not that I've been completely oblivious to it, but as I've been engaging with artists more, I've been kind of tuning into it more, and I'm like, oh man, like there really isn't, like I'm just trying to think of a way to like start a conversation about that, just like how it is for you, kind of, forging ahead in a scene where it's so there's just such a small population of woman fronted bands or anything of that sort, or just like
Yeah, I think this is a question that like not a lot, but like definitely some like female musicians or artists like tend to like shy away from, or like maybe
yeah,
possibly like not like obviously I brought it up earlier, but
yeah, yeah,
um and like I think that's probably like on the premise of like they like literally just wanting to be treated like so equal, like just
yep,
like, and I totally respect that,
yes,
but
yeah,
I have like no problem talking about that at all. So yeah, I feel like it's been sometimes I wonder if people really like the music. You know what I
sure,
mean?
sure, yeah,
But like just assuming that like they do. It's been fun. Like I feel like sort of like that. This is like one of my purposes in life at
yeah,
like this time. Because like everybody takes small steps, but like if everybody does, like change can happen that way. So
sure,
it's been fun, and I hope I'm setting like maybe like a good path or like a good example.
yeah,
Um, a big thing that like I guess I'm really sort of on right now is like I'm really there's been like a lot of like iffy sort of like people in the
hmm.
scene and stuff, and just like around like I've just heard so many girls coming out about like abusers and like
Yeah,
assault and
sure,
just terrible things, and um I just sort of feel like that needs to be broken down, like
yeah,
that
definitely,
wall of like protection
yes,
for people like that.
sure,
I understand there's a lot of love for these people, but enabling them isn't helping them,
yeah,
and hurting the women in your community isn't helping anyone either. Like
yeah,
so, that's something like I find really important, and so I'm not like really outspoken, but in my own way, like I try and make my opinion known on that. Like, and I'm trying to stay very conscious of who we play with,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, definitely,
but other than that, like I haven't really had any problems. Like most of the guys like in the scene are just really nice guys. Like, and
sure.
it's just like the odd one. Like you can't just group everybody.
Yeah, no, of course, of course. It's like I want to talk about it, but I always feel like it's something that I don't know the right way to say. Like I haven't really
It's
been.
so difficult being like a male talking about it. I feel like it's sort of scary. You could know, might say the wrong thing, just not knowing, and then like get attacked almost. Like
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to, and that's the thing. It's like I'm trying to be as communicative as I can about it, but I don't, it's something that I'm constantly trying to work and shape, and I want to just make sure that I articulate and I ask the questions in, the correct way.
Yeah, I feel you're doing really well with that. Like at least from like the interview with Jameson, I
Yeah,
thought like you seem really open minded to like a lot of things.
sure. No, and I appreciate that. It's just, yeah, like there are just certain questions I want to ask, but I'm not sure how
Yeah,
other people will receive it.
yeah. I think like a lot of it is just maybe feeling out like who you're talking to. I
Yeah,
feel like you have a good sense of that like so far already. So
sure.
it is a little talking about things that are swept under the rug like are never easy,
Yeah,
right? Because
yeah.
they're swept under the rug for a reason. So
Yeah, but it seems like there's definitely, I mean there's obviously been pushes to make, like as you were saying, with folks in the local scene that are, they're getting kind of called out for being
yeah.
abusers or pieces of shit, like that. Like there definitely is an unraveling of that, and that's like in the local scene where I am too, and that's something that it's like trying to talk about that and embrace that more and not letting it get swept back under the rug. I think that is important to kind of keep.
Yeah, keep it. Keep it present until it's like nipples, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. So how about like I guess changing gears a little bit. How about the vocal delivery you have on the project? I found that to be the most compelling aspect for like when I first listened to your work. Like what was like what like how did you develop and shape that style? Was that just kind of a natural, you're just like, this is how I want to deliver the lyrics? Because I like how you kind of have that soft, hushed kind of ghostly whisper to your delivery, and you can tell me if that's a crappy description of it, but that,
Oh,
like,
no, I get what you're saying for sure. Like we've been like told that.
yeah, but like how'd you land on that style of vocals? It's very interesting.
Well, like, to be honest, like I hadn't like Jameson and I would practice like with just us, but we never did vocals.
Oh, okay.
And like when we recorded the demo, like that was like the first time I'd ever even like sang in front of Jameson. It
Really?
was like I was so nervous and like I think on the demo, I think they were all first takes. So the
Really?
first song is literally like that first moment when like I'm breaking like that boundary and like I
Wow.
don't know, just like pushing myself out of that comfort zone and like singing in front of like a dear friend of mine. Like I
Yeah.
don't know, it was like I don't know, I was nervous.
That was a first
Uh,
take though?
yeah, and like that's
Wow.
just sort of the sound because like I said, I'm just trying to be genuine. So like whatever little peep came out, kind of like was the one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. That's mind blowing to me. I had no idea because when I listened to it, it sounds like it's such a precise, and it's very genuine, as you said. But like it the way it came off, I was just like, I would never have thought that was a first take. That's pretty amazing, honestly.
Like I'm pretty sure like you'd have to ask Jameson, but I'm pretty sure like in the demo like it's all just one go.
Wow, that's awesome. And that was just kind of the natural way it kind of poured out of you. You're just like, okay, here we go, and you just started
Yeah.
doing it, and that was it.
Yeah, I guess like I just
Huh.
sort of like yeah, once you start like you can't just stop sort of, you know.
Sure.
I feel like I sort of like jumped out of like the airplane with like my
Yeah.
parachute and I couldn't just like get back in the airplane
Yeah,
like
yeah.
while we're doing this. And I think, like I said, Jameson really understands sort of like the emotions I'm trying to get across. So I think he really was able to pull um, like the finishing touches to the sound of that out and make it present and more spooky like.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, kind of give it like that openness, kind of like that phantasmagoric sound, kind of like that ghostly or like that airy sound.
I'm honestly not sure exactly how he does it all. Like he yeah, he does some crazy stuff on his gadgets, and then
Yeah.
he does a lot of like he experiments a lot. So yeah, there's no like nothing like much more than like reverb, I think, on the vocals and the demo, just a little bit of reverb.
Sure.
He uses his room a lot, so I don't know.
I see. Are there other bits of the project or just kind of like topics that I'm kind of missing here with my questions? I know we've gone into detail on certain things, but are there like certain aspects of the project you really want listeners to know about that they may not be able to find when listening to your stuff on Bandcamp and such?
To be honest, I don't really know. Like, I feel like we don't really have many secrets right now, so.
No, and that's fine. Yeah, I don't think I have too much else. I don't know if I'm always curious about the lyrics, but I don't want to press, too much on that, given, some of the.
Like a specific, like sort of part or song, or like.
Well, there was that one lyric which I think I related to the most, and I thought it was like when you had the I think it was like in the third song you talked about you'll feel 84 years old when you're 25, and I was like, oh, that's exactly how I feel now, and I found that to be I was like, oh, well, that's a very like a common thread that I found. And does that speak to is that like a feeling of like being an old soul or something of that sort?
To be honest, that's one of like the lyrics that like I just felt like it needed to be there.
Okay.
And like it's very true, but I'm not even quite sure I understand it myself. Like I find like a lot of the times when I write lyrics, like things occur to me like as I'm writing them,
Sure.
I connect to them and I feel like emotionally about them, so I keep them because that's like what I'm trying to get across, but I don't necessarily fully understand what I'm saying sometimes.
And do you think at some point you may, well, like in a couple years or a few years time, you may look back or reflect on this and be like, oh, I understand what I was saying then? Like, is there...
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Interesting.
I think I have an idea, but almost like I don't feel like it's quite right, like it's quite there yet. So
Sure.
I don't feel like I should say, like, but,
Sure. But you don't want to kind of squander that moment when you have that thought or you have that phrase.
Yeah. Because, like, it feels very real to me. Just,
Okay.
like, the reasons why, like, they could be very personal or, who really knows with that one, I guess.
Yeah. No, I just found some of the lines very compelling, and I was, just trying to see, like, how those thoughts or those feelings were dredged up while you were writing the lyrics for these songs.
Yeah, I mostly just, like, play off of, like, how the song, like, the music makes me feel. Like, if I haven't, like, written, like, the lyrics before or anything.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. My friend Quinn, she took, like, the art for the single. Like, she took the photo.
Oh, okay.
But she always says, like, she's channeling. She's, like, an artist, and she's always, like, going at it. And I sort of feel like sometimes maybe I can relate to what she's saying there.
Okay.
Like, almost like our higher selves are, like, speaking to us or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think you're just kind of capturing, I think Jameson described it in a way too, kind of like that, like kind of like an ephemeral moment, kind of like that something where it's kind of like lofty or kind of outside of yourself, kind of like a metaphysical or kind of something beyond you, and you're kind of harnessing it or capturing it some way.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. I really do appreciate you taking the time to speak with me.
I appreciate you too. Like this is like been a first for me, and like I was really nervous when I first spoke to you, but I don't feel as nervous anymore, and it went really well. So thanks. Like.
8,